俺さ、子供の頃この年齢になった人たちはもっと大人だと思ってたよ。意外といくつになっても子供なんだな。ダメなやつってずっとダメなんだな。
Hey everybody, welcome to another lesson of learning Japanese. Today we are going over yet another anime line of the day. We're taking a line straight out of the show Osomatsu-san, and as you just heard, our line is going to be俺さぁ子供の頃この年齢になった人たちはもっと大人だと思ったよ。意外といくつになっても子供なんだな。ダメな奴ってずっとダメなんだな。And with this line right here, it's a pretty wordy line. I think it's about 3 sentences combined. It's going to translate to basically, when I was a kid, I always thought people our age were more mature. I guess no matter how old we get, we'll still always be children, and failures will always be failures. So this is our line that we're going to analyze today, and it's the translated English version is actually something that I've said to myself in real life before too, so it's a pretty good line to analyze. Before we break it down, we are of course going to need to learn some of the vocabulary in here. We have a little bit of words to memorize, but not that much for 3 sentences. So first up, a very common word, the noun word kodomo, which means basically children or kids. After that, we have the word koro, which means basically a time or period. We use this when we talk about a time that is basically a period, such as childhood or teenage years or high school years, something along those lines. Next up, we have the noun word nenrei, which is going to translate to basically age. After that, the noun word otona, which means basically adult. Next, we have igai, which is basically going to mean unexpected. And then we're going to wrap it up with the 2 words dame, which means no good or failure or something along those lines, and yatsu, which means basically people or those guys, something along those lines. Okay, so now let's jump into the actual sentence. We are going to start off with the pronoun ore, which is basically going to mean I or me. It's used to show off some masculinity, so it's mostly used by male speakers. Right after that, we have the sa, and this is kind of hard to explain. It's a purely verbal element of the Japanese language, and it's kind of just those word fillers that you include into your speech. Following that is our first vocabulary word, kodomo, so children. Here it's going to be the noun of a noun modification, so we're going to see the particle no right after it, and it's going to be the first noun in that noun of a noun modification, the second noun being our second vocabulary word, koro. So kodomo no koro is going to mean basically period of children, so more naturally that's just going to be when I was a kid, when I was my childhood period or something along those lines. Following this, we are going to have kono, which is the demonstrative adjective that means this, so it's going to be modifying the word right after it, which we see now is our third vocabulary word nenrei, which means age. So kono nenrei is going to mean this age, and this is referring to basically the current age of the person speaking. Next up, we are going to have a grammar pattern here, the ni naru grammar pattern, which means to become. Instead of naru though, it's going to be conjugated into natta, which is the past plain form. So this is saying became, and the kono nenrei that we covered right before this is going to be part of that grammar pattern. That's the what you're becoming, so become this age or became this age. And this whole clause right here, kono nenrei ni natta, is going to be modifying the noun right after it, which we see here is hitotachi, which is the word hito, which means people basically, and the plural marker tachi to mean people plural. So kono nenrei ni natta hitotachi is going to be people who have become this age basically, or people who are our age. Now we're gonna mark that the people who became our age or who have become our age, who are our age, as the topic with the particle wa right here. And since they're the topic, we're probably gonna need them to perform some action, or we're gonna describe them in some capacity here. And moving on, we see that it's gonna be a description with an adjective here. First up, we have the word motto, which is basically an adverb that means more, and it's gonna be modifying the word right after it, which is the word otona, which means adult, and that's our 4th vocabulary word. So moto otona is going to mean basically more adult, more adultish. So let's combine that with what we just covered, kono nenrei ni natta hitotachi, wa motto otona da. And this is going to translate to people who are our age are more adult-ish. Then we end that with the copula da. And then we're also going to employ the grammar pattern to omo to mean I think, but we're also going to in turn conjugate omo into the past plain form, so it becomes omotta. Then finally we're going to add the sentence ending particle yo to give this kind of an explanatory nuance to the sentence. So this was a decent amount of stuff here. Let's combine it all. This is the first sentence so far. 俺さ、子供の頃この年齢になった人たちはもっと大人だと思ったよ. And this is gonna translate to, when I was a kid, I thought that people who became our age or who are our age now were more adult-ish, more naturalized. When I was a kid, I always thought people our age were more mature.
俺さ、子供の頃この年齢になった人たちはもっと大人だと思ってたよ。
Okay, so that's the first sentence in this line. We still have 2 more to go, so let's move on. Our second sentence starts with our vocabulary word igai, which means expected. It's going to be followed by the particle to, and this is basically just a common way to say unexpectedly, igai to. After that is the word ikutsu, which is a bit hard to explain. It has a very flexible definition here. It basically translates to like how many or several. In our translation, we are going to turn it into basically no matter how many, I guess. It'll make more sense as we move on and see the rest of the sentence here, so let's do just that. We see here yet again we have the ni naru grammar pattern. So ikutsu is actually going to be the thing that's being used with the grammar pattern here. So ikutsu ni naru is basically to become any age or become several numbered age. The naru here is going to be conjugating to the te form, and it's going to be followed by the particle mo. And this is a grammar pattern in and of itself. When we use the te form plus mo, we mean basically even if you do that verb or no matter. So again, this is a bit hard to explain in Japanese from a literal translation point of view, but here we have ikutsu ni natte mo, and this is basically translating to even though you become several age, or more naturally, no matter what age you become, no matter how old you get. And now we need to say what happens no matter blah blah blah. And what we have here is kodomo nanda na. As we know, kodomo means children or kid. We have the nan there to add emphasis. Then we have the da as the copula to end the sentence. Then the na as an ending particle to insert an emphasis on how much you believe that or feel that. So then all together, this second sentence right here, Igai to ikutsu ni natte mo kodomo nanda na. And this will translate to, surprisingly or beyond what I thought, no matter how old you get, you're still a kid.
意外といくつになっても子供なんだな。
Alright, let's top off this line with the third and final sentence here. We are going to start off with the word dame, which means it's a pretty flexible word, but in this case it's probably best going to translate to failure, a noun. It's being used as a na adjective here, so we're going to need the particle na right after it before we modify the noun with it. And the noun that appears right after it is the word yatsu, which means people or those. So dame na yatsu is going to be basically people who are failures. We'll just naturally turn that into just failures. After that, we have the hard te to mark it as basically the topic. And then we have the word zutto, which is going to translate to basically always. It's an adverb basically. Then we top off the sentence with another instance of dame. We have the nan, which is again serving the same purpose as it did before in the other sentence, just emphasizing here. The copula da to end the sentence, and then once again the sentence ending particle na to emphasize that feeling. So dame na yatsu de zutto dame nanda na is just going to be basically failures will always be failures.
ダメなやつってずっとダメなんだな。
And alright, those 3 sentences right there are going to be combined to form this line right here. 俺さ、子供の頃この年齢になった人たちはもっと大人だと思ったよ。意外といくつになっても子供なんだな。ダメなやつでずっとダメなんだな。And this will translate to something along the lines of, when I was a kid, I always thought people our age were more mature. I guess no matter how old we get, we'll still always be children, and failures will always be failures. Alright, so that was a bulky anime line of the day. Let's just review the grammar patterns that we had to go through to master comprehending it. We had the noun of a noun modification with kodomo no koro. We had the ni naru grammar pattern with nenrei ni natta. We had a clause modifying a noun with the kono nenrei ni natta hitotachi. We had the to-omo grammar pattern to mean I think. We had a lot of substitutions for the topic marker wa, such as sa and te, which are very common in spoken language, not so much written language. We had the non-emphasis a lot, and we had a decent amount of sentence ending particles. And so yeah, that's a really decent amount of information to learn from this one line of anime.
俺さ子供の頃この年齢になった人たちはもっと大人だと思ってたよ。意外といくつになっても子供なんだな。ダメなやつってずっとダメなんだな。
大丈夫だよ、まだ間に合うって。
え？
だって今年が終わるまでまだちょっと時間あるだろ。今から急いでいいことやれば今年一年はいい年だったなってことになるんだよ。
Alright, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of Anime Line of the Day. Remember, if there were grammar patterns mentioned for this line, they'll be mentioned in the description or the pinned comment below with links to the individual lessons on them. You can also probably find them in the playlist of our complete grammar video series shown on the screen right here alongside our anime playlist. And last but not least, don't forget to try to translate the bonus line we provided. Leave your translation in a comment below. Check out our Patreon, like the video, and subscribe. With all that said and done, see you next time.